So my last Smash Ultimate guide was about controlling the stage. In that video, I talked about using your movement and attacks to control the surrounding terrain and your opponent's movement. But there was one thing I did not cover which I'd like to go over now, and that's passive item play. Several characters have items that can stay on the field for prolonged periods of time. These items have all sorts of properties, but they all have hitboxes that are designed to get in your way, one way or another. These kinds of items can be more annoying and dangerous to deal with than projectiles you just shoot, because you have to keep track of them long after they spawn onto the field. Usually, you only need to keep track of the opponent and their movement around the stage. But when you throw items into the mix, you suddenly have to keep track of 2, 3, or 4 different places on the stage at once. The more items you have to keep track of, the more straining it gets on your short-term memory in the heat of a match. The first category of passive items I want to go over is boomerangs. You throw out a boomerang, and it comes back to you. It's easy to block or avoid the boomerang's incoming hit when the owner throws it at you, but it can be surprisingly tricky to avoid the return hit when the boomerang comes back to its owner. This is because the opponent is already doing other things after they throw out the boomerang, so your attention is likely more focused on them instead of the boomerang. You have to keep track of when the boomerang comes back so you can evade the return hit as well. Otherwise, it will hit you and cause just enough hit stun to let the opponent do a follow-up attack. While the boomerang's return hit doesn't kill by itself, it will let the opponent extend their combos that potentially can kill, depending on how much damage they do. If you're the one throwing the boomerang, then you want to keep the opponent distracted and in place so they do get hit by the boomerang's return and you get the follow-up combo. You can use your other moves to trap the opponent and not let them move around. The next category I want to discuss is sitting duck items. These are items that can be either thrown around or planted on the ground, and which can be used to combo into a character's stronger attacks. Examples include Rob's Gyro, Diddy's Banana Peel, Bowser Jr.'s Mecha Koopa, Pac-Man's Hydrant, etc. What makes these items dangerous is their passive hitboxes that stay active for as long as they're in play. For example, if Rob leaves an active gyro on the ground, or if Diddy leaves a banana peel on the ground, then you need to take care not to blindly run into them. Gyro deals multiple hits with low damage and decent hit stun, which can let Rob follow up with other attacks like down tilt or grab combos. Banana peel trips the opponent, which lets Diddy follow up with other attacks like down tilt or his smash attacks. Bowser Jr.'s Mecha Koopa walks around the stage and deals low damage and diagonal knockback if it hits you, which can lead into strong aerial follow-ups. These are just a few examples. If you're avoiding these items, you want to know where they are at all times so you don't get caught by their hitboxes. Even if you try to pick up the item yourself, you should make sure the opponent doesn't do anything to hit you while you're doing so. And if the item has a hitbox while on the ground, you want to make sure you don't get hit while picking it up. If you're the one throwing the item, use it in ways that trap the opponent into moving around the way you want, so you can catch them right where you want them. The third category of passive items I want to cover is explosive items. Smash has no shortage of these, from the 3 Links and their bombs, Banjo's rear egg, Peach and Daisy sometimes pulling out bob-ombs, Snake's entire f***ing character. Their purpose in battle is self-explanatory. You plant them somewhere on the stage, and they explode sometime later, either on their own, or when something triggers them. But not every explosion is the same. Some explosions deal relatively low damage and knockback, which makes them good for combos, while others are lethal and meant to KO you outright. Depending on how many of them are on the stage at a time, you need to keep track of where they are and how much time you have left before they explode. Snake can be especially troublesome to deal with because of the sheer number of explosives he can have out on the field at once. He can have 2 grenades, a C4, and a Nikita missile out on the stage all at the same time. The grenades come out frame 1 and explode in Snake's hand if he gets hit, making them frame 1 combo breakers. They also have a very short timer if they're thrown onto the stage, meaning you have to either run away or throw them back as fast as possible. Not to mention, hitting a grenade with an attack makes the same sound as hitting Snake with that same attack, which is deceptive sound design that can throw off the opponent if Snake and the grenade are next to each other. The Nikita missile is remote-controlled and is an insane edge-guarding tool with plenty of speed and kill power. And the C4... don't even get me started on this one. It's incredibly small and comes out with little to no visual or audio cues. It only blinks red for a very short time, Snake can attach it to the opponent's body, and the explosion is powerful enough to kill you off the top. On top of that, the explosion hits below platforms. Like, what the actual fuck? Sorry, this turned into an anti-Snake rant for a minute. Can you tell I hate him? Bottom line, fighting a good Snake is like navigating a literal minefield. You have to stay on your toes and pay attention to so many different parts of the screen, it's mind-boggling. At the very least, explosive items can harm the opponent with their explosions as well, so you can use that to your advantage if you play smart enough. All of these items can be turned against the opponent if you have the right tools. Boomerangs can be reflected or pocketed. Sitting duck items can be reflected, pocketed, or picked up and thrown back. And explosives can be reflected, pocketed, picked up and thrown back, or absorbed. Just be aware of the risks these items pose if you guess wrong, or if you take too long to pick them up. The opponent can take advantage of that moment and punish you for it. Smash Brothers has many kinds of items, and passive items that stay out for a while can be the trickiest to deal with. If you're fighting against a character that uses these kinds of items, remember to pay attention to both the item and the opponent's location. The more items that are on the field, the more imperative it becomes to pay attention to all of them. You can use the opponent's items against them if you pick them up, but be careful about their hitboxes. If you're the one using these items, try to keep the opponent's attention on the items so you can punish them. Use all the tools you have to come out on top.
Game!
You got a little too easy for you, son.